Tomorrow is Johnny Manziel's 24th birthday. He's not even a football afterthought right now. Kay Cabot reported on his time in Cleveland for the Plain Dealer. Back in June, she was writing, "It was Manziel's partying that was the issue. The Browns' previous regime didn't recognize it early enough, despite the fact it was well documented before the 14 draft, and therefore let it get out of hand." We say hello to Emily Kaplan, the Monday morning quarterbacker. Reporting on Manziel includes this pithy take from one of his friends. Quoting the friend, "If Johnny doesn't have a carrot dangling in front of him, he resorts to his default, and his default is not giving a bleep." Emily, what else surprised you when you looked into Johnny Manziel?
The thing that surprised me the most is that there's no shortage of people rooting for Johnny Manziel. Even people who felt that he personally let them down want him to succeed. He has a huge support system around him, except he never wants to tap into that support system. And one of the quotes that really stuck out to me was from a former coach, and he said, when he had LeBron James as a mentor, LeBron James inviting him over his house, texting him all the time, and he didn't want to listen to him, that's when I knew Johnny had a problem.
Yeah. Mary Kay, when you heard Paul Manziel's statement in the Dallas Product earlier this year, he may not make it to 24, what did you feel?
You know what, I was just as worried about that as his father was. I had watched this downward spiral since the minute he showed up on the Browns doorstep. In fact, I had been harping on all of that stuff right from the very start and taking a little flack for it along the way. But you could just see that Johnny had major issues with substances right from the very start. And when his father made that statement, I took it very seriously. I think other people did too. And, you know, I, for one, am very, very happy that he's making it to 24.
Yeah, and getting assistance. Mary Kay, you and I have walked through this autopsy more than once. But here we are, 2014, 2015. How can an NFL franchise be so wrong about something like this with all they invest and all they look into?
Well, I don't think they did enough due diligence on Johnny Manziel. You really have to dig deep to find out what's going on with a player who's had major, major issues. All the signs were there. It had been written about. He had already been in anger management at Texas A&M. He had already been in different types of, I think, alcohol counseling at that point. And all you really would have had to do was talk to that circle of friends, talk to Kevin Sumlin, and you could have found out that this was someone that you might not want to bring on your football team until he had some serious substance abuse therapy.
Emily, reading your piece, your reporting is when he saw his Browns playbook, it was the first playbook he'd ever seen. He didn't have one at A&M.
That's absolutely correct. And I think one of the problems was he wasn't committed to learning. And coaches expressed such frustration because even when they would give him things to do, he would do the bare minimum. And there was a very clear sense of lack of professionalism and lack of, awareness that this is what you need to do to be the quarterback. And that's kind of the sense of entitlement and a culture of enablement that really tracked even before Texas A&M, but from his childhood.
Yeah, if he got 2 reps in practice as the #2 quarterback, you'd say what, he'd only work on those 2 plays?
Exactly.
Astonishing. What's been the fallout? What's the legacy, Mary Kay, of this in Cleveland now? We know the goose egg and the win column. In fact, we'll talk on it in our last segment today, and not charitably. But what's the legacy of this going forward?
Well, I think that people still look at that Johnny Manziel mistake as a major reason why the Browns are in the position that they're in right now. They're hurtling towards 0-16. Things are not good here. And that draft, the 2014 draft with Justin Gilbert, Johnny Manziel, was an absolute disaster. If you look at that draft, they could have had Khalil Mack and Derek Carr, and it maybe be enjoying some of the same success that the Raiders are right now.
What if? We'll be talking about it. Hopefully he has many more birthdays, and you ladies will come back. We can talk about it. Mary Kay Cabot, Emily Kaplan. Ladies, thank you very much.